Hello. Today's video is going to be slightly different than the usual. Me and Crystal are firm believers that there are spirits that live amongst us. Um, we've had several situations or experiences, I guess you could say, happen here. I've been in this apartment myself for 3 years. Me and Jesse had moved in first, and then Crystal lived with us for a little bit, and then moved back out, moved back in, and stayed for maybe a little over a year. But we've all had experiences in this house, and anybody that's actually stayed here and lived here can also tell you a lot of different things. For starters, what I'm going to start off with talking about is this room that we're actually in right now. This room, when we first moved in, was Jesse's. The second person that slept in this room was my brother. It's currently being remodeled for reasons. There's a lot of fixer-uppers in this room that honestly has been taking me longer than it should for certain reasons and certain things that happen in here. That makes me not really necessarily want to be in here by myself, because it's just like the feeling that I get is just overwhelming when I'm alone in here. It's not as bad if I have my cat with me. If I'm working with the paint and everything, I don't want her in here because I don't want her to accidentally get into it or something. Because she's very curious. She likes to take her paw and put it in wet things like wet bowls and food and stuff like that. And yeah, but anyways, sometimes I'll be sitting in my room and I'll be in the apartment by myself. My cousin will be at work, and I'll hear a bunch of loud noises coming out of this room, like banging, basically, like somebody's hitting the wall or something like that, or moving stuff or dropping stuff. I get vibes in this room too. She's not even looking at you. She's looking over there.
She's like looking next to me, and I don't like it.
So right now my cat is growling at something that could possibly be next to Crystal. She keeps looking here and then looking back that way when she does it.
She's looking up and down right now.
Oh, up and down and growling. It's hard telling, I mean, it could be anything. She could just be doing that, but I mean, in my personal opinion, I feel like my cat sees something.
She didn't start doing it until you started talking about it.
Yeah, she didn't start doing it until I started talking about it. And my cat, I trust my cat and her reactions because, I know how she is and how she's, like, there's been weird things she's done in my room too, and I'll get to those in a minute. But even Opie, my bearded dragon, has done some weird things in there. When I first, started painting in here, it was honestly just a sad feeling that was all that you felt. You just felt like it was depressed, whatever it is. I don't know, you just felt like you were depressed yourself for no reason. And then maybe shortly after, once I started, getting more stuff done, I noticed it just started seeming more overwhelming, more negative energy, basically, is what I was feeling. I'm not saying that this is like, anything that's gonna hurt anybody, nothing like that. This is just how I feel about it. Me and my cousin has sat in the living room together, and has heard talking coming from in here, and even heard out there in the open. I've heard a growl before. One thing that my cat does is I'll be laying in my bed, and my bed, the way it is, it's up against a wall. So let's say, I'm laying in my bed and it's closer to the, towards getting out of the bed, the room, walking, out of the room and not up against the wall. Um, she was looking up at the corner and was acting like she had saw something because the way that she was looking at it and like turning her head and staring, and then eventually she ended up like running to it like right here, looking back up again, doing the thing with her head, staring at something, and then doing it again. And then another thing that my bearded dragon had done was he had been looking up in that same corner that Delilah was staring at, acting like she was playing with something. He had looked in that corner, and this was the first time that I had ever seen his beard puff out, and his beard had puffed out when he looked up in that corner. I've been on the toilet singing and heard something whistle at me when I had stopped before. Mostly the most recent things all come from this room, a little bit out that way, not very much in my room. I feel like my room's kind of a safe zone to me. That's where I spend most of my time anyways. So next we're going to have Crystal come and talk about some of the things that she has seen and heard, and then we're going to talk together.
What can I say about living here and feeling some things? It first started with the stairs. Me and Erica would be in the living room, and it would sound like somebody was coming up the stairs all the time. And we opened it up one time, the door, and it was dark. And we looked down there, like, oh, there's nobody down there. What the hell was that? And we did get, like, a weird-ass feeling, like, looking down there, like there was something looking back up at us. And we were like, we don't like this, so we just shut the door and locked it. We would be in the living room a lot watching movies, because Jesse would just go to bed early, because he was just like, nah. And then we would still hear it. There was times where I could feel like somebody was looking at me from the living room where I was sleeping at, because I had a little living area that's supposed to be the laundry room, so I didn't have doors, so I just had like a bed there, and that was like my room, and I could see through that door, through the living room and like the kitchen, like that whole area, and it felt like something was constantly looking at me, like in the darkness. And there were times where I would like turn to look at the wall, and it felt like something was standing by the bed, or like the feeling like something was near the bed, and I would just like ignore it. It didn't happen a lot after a while of that. When I did leave, I went back home with my parents, and then I came back, and it didn't really happen when I came back, but there was those little moments of not feeling like you're by yourself or anything. And I'd be in the living room, like, still to this day, I still feel like there's somebody standing in there, sitting in there with you, when there's like nobody in there at all. The most recent thing that has happened, it took me a minute to remember, but there were times where I actually thought there was something standing in the hallway in between the bathroom, Erica's room, and this room. I've actually thought there was like something standing there when you enter the kitchen from the living room. You pass that doorway, and I have literally felt like I saw somebody standing there. There are moments where you sit in the seat right next to the doorway to the kitchen, and Erica will even tell you this, it feels really weird. Like, that whole area, like when it's dark and you're in the living room, all the lights are off. Even when it's daylight, you still feel like something's like standing like right by you in the doorway, or they're like real close to you, like they're gonna like touch you or something. But basically, um, I I haven't really experienced anything lately other than coming into this room since her brother's not in this room anymore. When we came in here and started painting, I told Erica, I'm like, stand right here and close your eyes and just feel the energy in the room and tell me, where do you feel like there's like energy coming from that's not me? And I just did this before I told her to do it, and she guessed the same area. And we're actually sitting in the area that we have felt the energy, and it's right next to the closet. And that's creepy. Now that I'm thinking of it, it's really weird. But yeah, it was like right in this area we felt the energy, and we were standing right next to the door to the room, and it just felt really depressing. I get vibes a lot, and I can feel certain things, and just standing in this room, you just sit here or stand here, whatever, and you can feel like there was like something depressing in here. Like if you could imagine somebody that's in a deep depression that doesn't have like a TV on or anything, no sound going on in here, and like they just lay in their bed and look out the window type depression. Like that's what I got from here when we were in here painting that day. And it's crazy. But other than that, anything that gets heard or felt is like the normal stuff. Like I just said, like you feel like you're not alone. We haven't really heard the stairs. When I'm here, I don't really hear the stairs. I don't know if she hears them as much. Kinda. Okay. But yeah, that's about it. Really, I haven't really heard like a voice lately. I think I heard like a woman's voice kinda one time, but that was it. And it was like a giggle, and that was about it. And I got like freaked out. But other than that, it was just feelings like first living here, sleeping on the couch. It was the feelings of like somebody was in the room watching you. So that's my story for right now.
So, now we're going to talk about more stuff. I even started remembering some stuff that I didn't even mention. Maybe about, this was probably about 5 months ago. I had a couple of people over, and I was making meatloaf, and I was chopping some onions, and I remember hearing something on this, like the steps. I thought it was somebody knocking on the door downstairs at first, and then I didn't hear it anymore, so I didn't think anything of it, and then it started again. And then I remember my friend going and opening up the door because I thought, oh, maybe it's my brother, maybe he's here. And it turns out nobody was there. We heard it again for a little bit after that, but we just kind of ignored it after that. I know there was one time when you lived here, actually. I thought you had left something in my bedroom and came back in there, and I heard something walking around in my room, and I heard it for a couple minutes, and then I decided to turn around to see, like, what the fuck is she doing? She's taking forever in here. Like, she should have already found it and gone by now, whatever she forgot. And nobody was in there. So I faced the room a little bit for a few minutes, and then I was like, you know what, I'm more comfortable facing the other side, so I'm just going to ignore it and face that side. And, it did happen again, and I just ignored it after that. I've heard mumbling before. It sounds like a female mumbling. I've even heard something that just sounds like people back here talking in general when it's me and Jacob in there. I usually will hear it if I sit in the rocking chair, and I rarely ever sit in the rocking chair hardly anymore because I hear things back here, and I'm just like, I don't want to listen to it, so I'm gonna kind of sit back this way.
The creepy chair back
there. Yeah. That's the creepy chair where you feel like something's watching you, and you hear things back here too. I don't know if you've heard things back here sitting there, but I hear stuff every time I sit in the chair. Well, not every time. There's been, a couple times I haven't really heard anything. Another thing, places like how you were talking, you feel like something's watching you, like the living room, even sitting in that rocking chair or sitting on the couch closer to the doorway to the kitchen. I feel like at nighttime something's gonna walk in there and walk towards me, and then
like the feeling in the living room of not feeling alone. It doesn't feel bad.
It doesn't, but it's just weird.
Yeah, it's
like,
weird.
You're just like, this is kind of awkward. I know it's not gonna do anything to me, but at the same time, like, I'm supposed to be alone.
Yeah.
And then my biggest problem is when I walk out of my room and I look into the kitchen when it's dark. That's why I have lamps in every room in this house, because I try to keep it dim lighted so I'm not so like, oh my fucking god, there's something back there. Like, I feel like that makes me feel worse.
It is kind of creepy around the stove when there's no light on.
Yeah.
Like, it's a hiding place as it is. So it's like something's hiding.
Yeah. So about a year ago, this was maybe a couple days after I came home from the hospital. I had my appendix taken out, and I was laying in bed. I couldn't really get up and move around that much, so I stayed in bed the entire time. And Jesse had gone to work and had came home from work, and when he came in my room, he told me, he was like, I'm kind of sketched out right now. And I'm like, why? And he was like, well, I thought I saw you in that extra room, which is what a laundry room would be.
What was my room?
It could be, well, I mean, it's actually big, so, I mean, you can't really complain about it, except no doors.
It could be an extra, like, room, office and stuff like that. It's that big.
But, he said he thought he had saw me run across the room, which, I don't think I would have been able to even power walk at that point.
Yeah.
So, I told him, I was like, yeah, let me tell you how I'm up out of this bed fucking running around. But, Jesse had said a few times that sometimes he would be taking a shower and it would instantly get like super hot, like somebody turned the cold water off.
Didn't you have a door handle shake one time?
Huh?
Didn't you have one of y'all have like a door handle shake one time when y'all were in the bathroom?
I don't know if it was me or not. It sounds familiar.
I know
but I don't
one
think
of
it
y'all
was me.
said you was in there, and I swear it was you taking a bath, and you said that somebody it was like somebody was shaking the door down.
I get really, like, honestly, bathing in that bathroom in general makes me paranoid. Because I'm always afraid to open that door when I walk out, because I feel like there's something outside.
Can you think of anything else?
Other than I want out of this room. I mean, it's not that bad right now, but it just, with every few minutes, you feel it more and more.
Yeah, like, especially, like, all the, like, I'm right by the door.
I feel like...
And it feels like pressure is being pushed on this side of my body right now.
Yeah. One thing that I would like to do later on, once I can get the proper equipment and everything, is I would like to eventually, start ghost hunting and doing stuff like that, and more than likely starting a team, which also adds on to another, what I guess you could say, series of Erica Evolution.
It'd be like the Sunday series. Like right now, it's been the traveling stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like there's always gonna be like a series on Sundays, like traveling ones or like fun stuff that we all do together would be like Sunday Fun Day.
Yeah.
I guess I guess this is the end of this video.
Peace out, Girl Scout.
We'll see you next time.
Next time, yes.